Narration begins with calming, steady pace. If there is one moment in the day that steals your confidence, it is the simple act of standing up. Not from a high chair or a dining room table, but from that deep, wonderful, overly soft couch. The one you sink into like quicksand. The one that feels like a trap. You sit down, your body immediately relaxes, and you feel that lovely sigh of relief. But the minute you realize you need a refill, or the phone rings, or the dog needs out, a little knot of anxiety tightens in your stomach. That anxiety is real. It's the feeling of knowing the next 10 seconds will involve grunting, rocking, and potentially using your armrests like they are rocket boosters. We call this the deep couch dilemma. And if you are over 60, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just about strength. If it were only about thigh strength, you could simply push up. The real enemy here is what happens to your hips when you sink that low. When you sit on a deep, comfortable surface, your hip joints fall into extreme flexion. They basically lock up. The powerful muscles that run from your spine down your thigh, your hip flexors, become shortened and sticky. When you then try to stand, those sticky, tight muscles fight you every inch of the way. It's like trying to open a door that is rusted shut at the hinge. You can push with all your might, but until you loosen that hinge, the door isn't moving smoothly. This is why you resort to pushing off with your hands. You are using your arms to compensate for your frozen hips. And the worst part? When you rely on your arms, you stop activating the muscles you actually need, your glutes and hamstrings. They fall asleep on the job. This creates a vicious cycle. The more you use your arms to get up, the weaker your hips and legs become in the action of standing. The stiffness increases, the effort increases, and soon you start avoiding those beautiful low chairs altogether. You choose the stiff, uncomfortable dining chair instead, just to avoid the struggle and the visible effort. You avoid having company watch you heave yourself out of the sofa. That loss of easy movement is a real blow to daily independence. But what if I told you there is a way to unlock those rusty hinges before you even start pushing? What if there was a simple, subtle 5-second leg move you could perform while sitting that immediately awakens the correct muscles, prepares your joint capsule, and turns a struggle into a simple lift? This isn't about doing 50 squats a day. This is a targeted neurological reset. A quick preparatory ritual that tells your hips, okay, we are about to move vertically. Wake up. We need a technique that specifically addresses that moment of transition, the critical 5 seconds before the ascent. The difference this move makes is profound. Instead of trying to force a lift with locked joints, you prime your body to use momentum and natural power efficiently. You use gravity to your advantage rather than letting it pin you down. This 5-second move focuses on a specific small rotation and engagement of the legs and feet. It seems too simple to work, yet it taps directly into the stability system of your hips. Once unlocked, the movement shifts from a painful push to a fluid, controlled rise. Think about the structure of your hip joint. It's a ball and socket. When you are sunk deep into that couch, the ball is jammed right into the socket, putting pressure on the surrounding tissues. Our 5-second preparation is designed to slightly decompress that ball and socket, creating the internal space necessary for free movement. This move is something you can do discreetly. Nobody around you will even realize you are performing a functional exercise. It looks like you are simply adjusting your posture before getting up. You will gain that precious moment of dignity back. Before we teach you the exact mechanics of the 5-second unlock, which we will break down step by step in the next segment, we must cover the single most common mistake people make when sitting down on a low surface. Getting the landing wrong makes the takeoff almost impossible. You see, the way you initially settle into that deep cushion dictates how much trouble you will have standing up. Most people simply collapse. They fall back and let their pelvis roll into a deep tuck, rounding their lower back. This instantly puts the hips into their most locked down, powerless position. We need to learn to land forward rather than collapse backward. Landing forward is the prerequisite for the 5-second unlock. So here's your first crucial adjustment, even before the main move. Never sit so deeply that your hips fall below your knees without first setting your anchor points. When you approach that low couch, feel the cushion behind your knees, and instead of just dropping, deliberately push your hips back into the crease of the couch. This is the difference between slumping and sitting. When you push your hips back, you maintain a slight, natural arch in your lower back. This small arch is absolutely essential because it prevents the complete shutdown of your glutes and keeps your core slightly engaged. This is your foundation. If you are already seated deeply and you realize you slumped, take 5 seconds right now to perform this micro adjustment. Gently rock forward, lift your chest, and press your sitting bones, those bony points under your bottom, further back into the couch cushion. You should feel a tiny increase in tension right at the top of your hamstrings. This slight forward tilt of the pelvis is what provides the necessary leverage for our 5-second leg move. Without this correct starting position, the hip unlock will be much harder. Once you have mastered this foundational starting posture, sitting tall, hips slightly tilted forward, you are ready for the specific, powerful leg rotation that changes everything. In our next segment, we will reveal the exact 5-second foot and knee manipulation that immediately wakes up your sleeping power muscles and provides the instant momentum boost you need to get off that low couch smoothly every single time. Get ready to finally stop relying on those armrests. We discussed how those low, plush sofas, the ones that feel so inviting, often trick our bodies into a state of temporary hip paralysis. You start sitting, but you end up stuck. That familiar, embarrassing struggle of rocking 3 times just to gain momentum is not necessary. We are going to stop letting the furniture win. The solution is not a grueling set of exercises you must do every morning. It is an immediate, preemptive physical adjustment you make before the struggle begins. It takes 5 seconds max. This move is simple, gentle, and designed specifically to activate the stabilizing muscles around your hips and glutes without requiring deep flexibility. We call this the assisted hinge kickout. Let's practice this move right now from a sturdy chair or couch where you feel just slightly too low. Please ensure you have something firm nearby to place your hand on for balance if you feel wobbly. Safety first. First, scoot forward, planting both feet flat on the floor. Your knees should ideally be bent at a 90-degree angle or close to it. Now, instead of preparing to lean forward and throw your weight, you are going to focus on stabilization first. This is crucial for avoiding that backward tilt that throws off your balance. Choose one leg. It doesn't matter which one. We will use the right leg for demonstration. Slowly kick your right heel forward just enough so that your knee straightens almost completely. Your heel should still be touching the floor, but your leg is now straight in front of you. The key here is not to strain, but to elongate the front of the hip. Now, activate the 5-second timer. Gently press that extended right heel down into the floor. Not a push that lifts your bottom, but a firm, controlled press into the ground. You should feel the muscles in the top of your thigh, your quadriceps, tense up slightly, and you should feel a deeper tension right where the top of your hamstring meets your sitting bone, activating your glutes. Hold that gentle tension. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. That's it. Stop pressing. Relax that leg just slightly. You have now done the hip unlock. What just happened physiologically? When you straighten the leg and press the heel, you bypass the often lazy hip flexor, the deep tendon that gets short and tight when we sit. Instead, you forced your stronger posterior chain muscles, your glutes and hamstrings, to engage. Think of those muscles as a spring. While sitting, that spring is fully compressed and stuck. That 5-second press is the tiny leverage needed to slightly lift the tension off the spring, preparing it to launch safely. This subtle engagement tells your brain, we are standing up now. Load the powerhouse. Before the kickout, your brain assumes you are still comfortable and sitting. After the kickout, your brain has already activated the primary stabilizers needed for a safe vertical lift. This means when you finally lean forward to stand up, Your hips are already stabilized. You won't need to rock back and forth. You won't feel that terrifying moment of hesitation where you fear falling back onto the sofa. The lift is clean, single, and balanced. Let's apply this directly to the low couch challenge. Imagine you are sitting on your deepest, lowest, cushiest sofa. You are ready to stand up and walk into the kitchen. Step 1. Scoot forward to the very edge. If you cannot touch the floor with your heels, roll up a small towel or use a firm block to give yourself solid ground contact. Step 2. Perform the assisted hinge. Kick out on one leg only. Extend the heel, press down for a controlled 5 seconds, release. Step 3. Now, without pausing, lean your torso forward slightly, keeping your chest up and your chin neutral. Drive through the heel of your other foot, the one that is still bent, and the foot you just activated. The difference should be immediate. That heavy, stuck feeling is gone. The lift should feel anchored and strong, originating cleanly from your hips, not strained from your lower back. It's important to note that you only need to perform the kick-out on one leg. Engaging one side is enough to send the stabilization signal across the pelvis, activating the entire hip complex needed for standing. It's an efficiency hack for mobility. If you are using this move throughout the day, alternate legs. Use the right leg before lunch. Use the left leg before going to bed. This keeps your body learning to rely on both sides equally. Remember, this is not just about standing up. It is about building confidence in your structural stability. Every time you stand up cleanly without relying on armrests or the dreaded rocking chair technique, you are reinforcing positive movement patterns. You are teaching your body that age does not automatically mean diminished power. If you have arthritis, particularly in the knees, this gentle press is a fantastic pre-activation exercise. Because the movement is primarily an isometric contraction, meaning the muscle is tensing without shortening greatly, it stabilizes the joint capsule without grinding the cartilage. But what if you are stuck much lower? What if you need to get up from the floor or navigate a deep step? The mechanics of the 5-second hinge activation are the same, but the setup requires a variation. In the next part, we will move beyond the couch and focus on the deepest dips and most awkward positions, how to use this exact same hip unlock to safely rise from the ground after gardening or playing with the grandkids. Stay with us. Welcome back. We have established the core principle of the 5-second leg move. It is about creating an unstable position that forces your hips to engage and stabilize themselves. But having the right foot placement is only half the battle. If you are still struggling, it is likely you are making one of two common mistakes. We need to fix them right now. The first mistake is pushing too soon. Seniors often try to use brute strength instead of strategic leverage. They rush the movement, putting all the pressure straight onto their knees. The 5-second rule is about the setup, not the rise itself. Take the full time to plant your front foot, turn the toe out, push the heel down firmly. Think of that planted leg not just as a foot, but as a stable foundation. The moment you plant it, apply what I call the inner thigh grip. Before you push off, squeeze the inner thigh of that front leg. Just a light squeeze. This stabilizes the entire hip joint before it takes any weight. This small internal action is what unlocks your core and prevents that painful lurch. It shifts the strain away from your kneecaps and onto the stronger muscles of your upper leg. Master the grip first. The second, and perhaps biggest mistake, is direction. Where are you looking when you try to stand up? If you are looking straight ahead, you are trying to rise vertically. You are attempting to lift your entire body weight straight up against gravity. That requires maximum muscle effort. That is why it feels impossible. We need to trade vertical struggle for forward flow. When you are about to stand up, do not look at the person across the room. Look down at the floor. Look maybe 6 feet in front of your planted toes. Now, lean your head and shoulders toward that spot. Your nose must pass your knees before you initiate the push. This sounds simple, but it is revolutionary for standing mobility. When your nose passes your knees, you shift your center of gravity forward. Gravity is now assisting you. It turns the struggle into a gentle forward rock. You are no longer trying to stand up. You are leveraging yourself forward. The 5-second move refined. Plant the foot, turn and grip the thigh. Lean the nose past the knees. Now we can attack the main culprit, the low, plush couch, the one you sink into and cannot escape. Sit down low, sink into the cushions. Now, slide yourself forward until your feet are flat on the floor. We will use the 5-second method to achieve instant liftoff. Step 1. Execute the planting and rotation. Pick your strong side or the side that feels less tight today. Step that foot forward. Rotate the toe out 30 degrees. Squeeze the inner thigh. Hold that squeeze. Step 2. The back push. Instead of trying to push up with the planted foot, push backwards slightly with the heel of the other foot, the one still sitting back. That small backward push helps you initiate the crucial forward lean. Step 3. The forward flow. As you feel that small backward push, immediately lean your nose past your front knee. You should feel your weight shift entirely onto the planted foot. Step 4. The rise. Now, you simply push down on the planted heel and let the forward flow carry you up. Notice how the lift feels different. It is not an explosion of effort. It is a smooth, continuous flow. It is like getting up on an escalator, not climbing a staircase. Practice this technique 3 times on that low couch right now. Slide down. Plant. Push back slightly. Lean forward. Rise. It gets easier every time you train the sequence. The muscle memory takes over quickly. This specific intentional leg rotation and forward lean is your universal key. It is not just for the sofa. This is the exact method you must use every time you exit the car. It saves your back and your knees from the awkward twisting motion. It is also the only safe way to rise from a deep chair in a restaurant booth. And most importantly, this is the safest way to stand up from the toilet. The toilet transition is critical for maintaining independence and preventing falls. Always lead with the unlocked hip technique. Do not just push straight up from your knees. Plant, rotate, lean, rise. You now have a powerful 5-second weapon against stiffness and loss of mobility. We have mastered the setup and the physical execution, but relying on a technique is good. Building the enduring strength to make the technique effortless is even better. How do we ensure those hips stay loose and flexible for the next 20 years? That requires a simple daily maintenance routine. A few quick exercises that reset the hips and keep them ready for action. That is exactly what we need to cover next in Part 4. We are moving now to solidify this 5-second unlock, applying it to the most challenging low spots in your life. If you practiced the subtle hip rotation and the forward lean on the couch and it felt only slightly better, we need to check your technique for one crucial mistake. It's about weight transfer. When you do the 5-second prep, that external rotation of the foot combined with the slight shift onto the front edge of the seat, most people forget to commit to the lean. You must lean your chest far enough forward that your nose is hovering over your knees before you push up. Think of it like loading a spring. The hip unlock gets the joint ready. The forward lean loads the spring. If you try to stand straight up without leaning forward enough, you are relying solely on your knee strength, and that's when you feel the grinding and the struggle. So, sit back down, practice the unlock, rotate one foot out 5 degrees, shift your weight to the front edge. Now, lean forward until your shirt collar wrinkles slightly. Now, push. That smooth, quiet transition is the goal. That is the feeling of using your powerful gluteal muscles and hip structure, not just stressing your joints. Mastering the car seat challenge. The low couch is one thing. The car seat is another trap entirely. Getting out of a low car, especially a modern sedan or a sports utility vehicle where the bucket seat hugs you, compresses your hips and spine into an unnatural L shape. This is where the 5-second move becomes non-negotiable. If you try to exit the car by simply pivoting, you strain your back and often catch your foot under the dash. Next time you are parked, try this specific sequence. First, slide your bottom as far forward on the seat as possible. You want to be perched, not sunken. Second, perform the hip unlock. Rotate the foot closest to the door outward. This instantly creates space in the hip socket. You are using the car floor as your leverage point. Third, instead of lifting straight up, use your hands on the steering wheel or the door frame to pivot your whole body. Crucially, you are not pulling with your arms. You are pushing your weight through the unlocked hip and pivoting. The unlocked hip allows the knee to clear the steering column and the door frame effortlessly. It prevents that agonizing moment where your knee joint feels twisted. It is a smooth, single motion. Unlock, pivot, stand. The greatest benefit here is safety. When we struggle to get out of the car, we often contort ourselves, leading to minor strains that can turn into major falls once we finally exit and hit the pavement. A smooth exit is a safe exit. Integrating the unlock into daily life. This 5-second prep is not just for standing from low positions. It is a fundamental mobility fix that translates into better balance and less joint pain throughout your day. Think about activities that demand hip control. 1. Gardening. When you kneel or crouch down to weed, do you struggle to get back up? Before you push off the ground, position one foot slightly ahead of the other and unlock the hip of the front leg. Use that external rotation to create the space needed to load the weight onto your heel for the push-off. 2. Tying shoes. When you sit down to tie your laces, the 5-second move is already there. That slight outward turn of the foot you are focusing on lets you reach the laces without excessive rounding of the lower back. 3. Picking up dropped items. If you drop a key, a credit card, or the remote, we often bend over hastily and feel that sharp pain in the lumbar spine. Instead, pause. Put one foot back slightly, unlock the hip on the front leg, and use the hip hinge we discussed to lower yourself slowly, keeping the back straight. The unlock protects the knee during the descent. The goal is to turn the 5-second preparation into a 0-second reflex. We want it to be automatic. Every time you transition from sitting to standing, whether it is the kitchen chair, the sofa, or the dining table, make a conscious effort for the next month to feel the weight shift and the hip rotation before you move. Think of it as your new mobility default setting. You will find that the constant, subtle internal rotation that often locks up our hips throughout the day starts to release. You are retraining your body to use its strongest muscles, the glutes, first, rather than relying on the vulnerable small muscles around your kneecaps. This is the power of a small investment. 5 seconds of preparation stops 5 minutes of struggle and recovery. We are building consistency. The immediate reward is getting off that low couch without feeling like you need a crane or a young grandchild to haul you out. The long-term reward is maintaining the dignity and confidence to participate in life without fear of being stuck. Remember, improved hip mobility is the foundation of balance. It allows the hips to absorb shocks, navigate uneven sidewalks, and prevent those quick, unexpected stumbles that can lead to falls. You have unlocked your hips. You have restored the basic functional movement that aging tries to steal away. Now that we have the freedom of movement, the next crucial step is stabilizing it. Mobility without stability is like driving a powerful car without good brakes. In the next part, we need to focus on the simple seated exercises you can do in under 5 minutes a day to lock in this newfound hip freedom and strengthen the core muscles that stabilize your entire pelvis. This will ensure that the couch struggle is a memory, not a recurring problem.